President Donald Trump's drastic executive orders have shaken up immigration policies, revoking the legal status of hundreds of thousands of migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. This bold move could ripple across U.S. society, affecting the economy, migrant communities, and international relations. These actions are bound to trigger unforeseen consequences, including potential loss of household incomes, increased labor shortages, and a strain on social systems. On a global level, undermining diplomatic relations with these countries offers American geopolitical rivals like China the opportunity to swoop in and expand their regional influence. This could be a terrible move since the Caribbean hosts crucial shipping ports, routes, and strategic resources like oil, gas, and refining hubs. Stick with us as we explore the far-reaching effects of this executive order and what it means for the future of immigration, diplomacy, and global power dynamics. Back in 2023, then U.S. President Joe Biden introduced 4 parole programs to provide safe and orderly pathways to the United States to Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan migrants.
Today, I'm announcing that my administration is going to expand the parole program for people not only from Venezuela, but from Cuba, Nicaragua, and Haiti.
The Biden-era CHNV program allowed migrants from these 4 countries to arrive in the U.S. for 2 years after a U.S. resident's sponsorship and a background check. The application process involved a declaration of financial support from the sponsor and the provision of biographical information, including appropriate vaccination certificates. Once approved, the migrant had to complete the authorization process through the CBP One smartphone app, arrange air travel to the U.S. on their own, pass inspection by the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, and finally enter the country. The Biden administration's approach discouraged illegal border crossings by offering viable legal solutions. While the humanitarian parole had an upper bound of 30,000 arrivals, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services received more than 1.5 million applications in its first few months. However, on January 20, 2025, Donald Trump issued an executive order stating that millions of illegal aliens had entered the United States, including potential terrorists, foreign spies, members of cartels, gangs, and violent transnational criminal organizations, and other hostile actors with malicious intent. The administration officially blocked new applicants from receiving humanitarian protection under the CHNV program and, quote, removing promptly all aliens who enter or remain in violation of federal law. Later, on March 3, 2025, a Federal Register notice specified how the Department of Homeland Security is terminating CHNV parole programs. Effective April 24, the government will revoke the temporary legal status of the program's beneficiaries. This announcement now leaves 532,000 US-based individuals of Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan origin hung out to dry, making it a big humanitarian crisis for the Caribbean migrants. If the parole-denied migrants don't leave by April 24, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, will initiate its crackdown to deport them. By the way, if you're finding this video insightful, please like it and subscribe to our channel so we can keep you updated about the Caribbean. Thank you. Mind you, ICE is known for its humanitarian rights abuses, with NGOs and other advocacy groups calling for a policy change. The latest reports suggest that ICE is detaining close to 50,000 people, half of whom have no criminal record. As they wait to be processed, detainees undergo solitary confinement, known as segregation, in inner circles. Once processed, migrants returning to their countries of origin are likely to face severe consequences. Cubans may endure surveillance, harassment, and even imprisonment, while Nicaraguans and Venezuelans will confront persecution and human rights abuses. Haitians, on the other hand, will return to a lack of support systems, pushing them further into poverty. These challenges could trigger a humanitarian crisis, overwhelming the healthcare and social infrastructure of these nations. The socio-economic consequences might leave thousands of people in turmoil. With their work permits now revoked, migrants cannot provide for their families in the US or back home, which, in addition to the deportations, will loom large in the family and community disruptions. The immediate loss of work will push families into poverty, ultimately increasing homelessness and a lack of health care by tenfold. It's important to note that the US has long leveraged immigration for its blue-collar needs. 34% of the construction and extraction workforce was born outside the US. Immigration participation in the U.S. labor market rose from 14.8% in 2005 to 18.6% in 2023. However, according to a government report, 42% of agricultural workers were not legally authorized to work in the United States. And now, if ICE deports all these immigrants back, this could create a massive loss of workforce in the U.S. These issues are not limited to the workers or families being deported. They will also cause some major geopolitical problems. Cuba, for example, has long suffered from the impact of U.S. sanctions, and with over 100,000 people to be deported back to Cuba, the country will end up facing local economic and healthcare crises. The Cuban foreign minister has called it a tease, tempting Cubans to migrate and then turning them back. Similarly, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela are also in a difficult spot because once they stop receiving remittances that are crucial to their economies, they will face severe crises. The US has long based its foreign policy narratives on the progress of democracy and human rights. However, these policies undermine that rhetoric and create rifts with multiple Caribbean allies. It's safe to say that the US has major strategic stakes in the Caribbean, and stoking the fire would be risky. Fortunately for most non-citizen workers, a federal judge blocked the swift deportation of immigrants on March 28. He stated that the government has to give migrants a chance to raise claims regarding persecution and torture in their countries of origin. Going against those orders, President Trump invoked a 226-year-old wartime authority to send Venezuelan gang members to a high-security prison in El Salvador, a move that has invoked the ire of several civil rights groups. The US president has also asked the Supreme Court to intervene and lift the ban. He wants to enact his immigration policies unfettered. Whether or not he can legally implement them remains to be seen. The impact of these executive orders is undeniable, affecting families, economies, and global relations. While the situation remains uncertain, there's still hope for change through legal challenges and global solidarity. What's your say in this? Do you believe the removal of the CHNV parole programs will worsen the humanitarian crisis in these Caribbean nations? And how do you think the deportation of over 500,000 migrants will affect the labor market in the US? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Also, check out our video about the US travel ban on 6 Caribbean countries. If you found this video informative, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest news and insights. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. This is Caribbean Focus, and we'll see you in the next video.
My message is this. If you're trying to leave Cuba, Nicaragua, or Haiti, or have agreed to begin a journey to America, do not just show up at the border. Stay where you are and apply legally from there.